Hello, and thanks for tuning in. Question for you. Have you ever set off to achieve a goal? Maybe it was you and your team, and you felt really confident, but you didn't quite get the job done. It's very common. It's not your fault. It's actually one of the things that I see very often in the businesses that I connect with. And that's because there's a day to day whirlwind that keeps us busy. We've got so many different things to do. And many people lack a framework to have really effective planning sessions. They set meetings, and sometimes in the meetings, they set more meetings. I know, I've worked at one of those places. It was not a lot of fun. And then people get a little overwhelmed, they get tired, and they get burnt out going to meetings because they're very unproductive. Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing the framework that I've used to facilitate hundreds of workshops, masterminds, and strategic planning sessions with businesses around the country. And you can use this, you could follow this framework for your business to help increase focus and execution so you get more things accomplished. Accomplish more, working smarter, not harder. So it's kind of like, measure twice, cut once. And if you follow this process, you'll not only be more efficient and effective, you'll also energize your team and start cultivating a growth culture. And that's one of the coolest things that I've been experiencing when I'm working with others is seeing not only the accomplishment, the goals are being achieved, but to see the transformation in the people, in the culture. It's really inspiring. So without further ado, if you have pen and paper, make sure you take notes because you can put this into action and start amplifying your business. So number one, we got to take this time to step back and really review, reflect, and refresh. We got to look in the past 90 days, right? And review what worked out, what didn't, what worked and what didn't. So we can learn from our experiences. If we accomplish things, if we're moving things forward, if we're getting ideas into action and it's working, we want to know what's working so we can take notes of that, so we can double down on it, so we can do more of it. However, if there are things that did not work out, that maybe we made some assumptions, or maybe we tried something and it just didn't pan out, we want to learn from that too, so we don't repeat the mistake. See, failures aren't bad if you learn from them. In fact, most successful businesses have many failures along on their journey, but it's how they react to them. It's what they learn from them and how they respond to them that makes all the difference. So, taking the time to do that. And then once you look to see, where you've been, it's time to start looking ahead. What's the new focus? And really determining where we're going to be putting the attention over the next 90 days to move us closer to our vision. So you create a goal, you get everyone around it. Everyone's thought about what we want to achieve. Now we got to create a plan. We want to do this in a structured way so that we're not just, well, that's what we're going to do and see what happens. We outline what are the strategies that we're going to implement towards achieving this goal, and what are the actions we need to take in order to execute the strategies. See, it's really having a focused plan. Like we said earlier, you can measure twice and cut once. So by creating a better plan, you can get a better outcome. And then you want to determine what you want to track. What do you want to measure and track to make sure that you're making progress and you're not just spinning your wheels? You could be taking a lot of action, but if you're not seeing a result, you definitely want to know sooner rather than later so that you can adjust as needed. Now, growth amplifiers, I mentioned, facilitated hundreds of different events, all different backgrounds. Some were workshops, some webinars, some masterminds, focus groups, some networking, and we're actually putting on a workshop. This is going to be a live planning workshop where owners and their team members are invited to come in, participate, experience the live session, and get a recording of it so they can implement it in their business moving forward. One of the tools that we use is the ICE prioritization tool, which helps to prioritize ideas following impact, confidence, and ease. If you just jump into doing something because it flashes in your head, and you're like, this is something we should do. Or the shiny object gets your attention and you just start running forward with an idea. It may be a decent idea, but is it the best idea? So we want to ideate all the different things we could do, then prioritize them. Then we want to move forward the ones that will have the most impact, we feel the most confident about, they would be the easiest to implement. Once we prioritize the ideas, we put them into an action plan. And we also provide a habit optimization training. Because if you haven't realized, your habits, whether good or bad, they define your reality. See, we're creatures of habits being humans, right? And so we'll take the same actions and those actions turn into habits. And so the things that we do on a regular basis end up being it leads to our outcome, right? So for example, there are some people that are really bad about procrastinating. And if that's a habit they have, if they want to overcome it, they need to work on behavioral design to thwart that habit. Maybe they have a habit of overstacking their plate and doing too many things. And that can actually work against you too. So we can work through behavioral design to reduce those tendencies as well. Maybe it's being objective and objecting to a lot of different ideas. Each thing that you do might have its own benefit, but if you do it too often, it can actually work against you. So we want to make sure that we're optimizing habits as well. And then last but not least, we want to make sure that we are empowering people with the tools and resources to get the most focus and execution. So if you haven't seen the video on the 6-stage strategic process using the growth flywheel, I'm going to share that in just a moment. And I'm also going to do a quick overview of the 4 disciplines of execution. So taking the first steps, by the way, if you want to learn how to participate in our strategic planning event, learn about our process and kind of experience it for yourself, receive a special first-timer pass and our habit optimizer blueprint, simply go to go.growthamplifiers.com/action plan. So you can go there, get the habit optimizer blueprint, and we'll give you a special first-timer pass so that you can experience this for yourself. Now, let's go over the 6-stage process to how you can start getting more focus and execution when you're planning out strategic for your business. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you do a good diagnostic of your business. See, you can run into getting bottlenecks or even blind spots you don't even realize are there. They can be holding you and your team back from achieving a result. So by doing a diagnostic, you can identify what is working and what is not. Once you've done the diagnostic, you want to determine what the focus is. Which area of your business would be the most impactful to put focus and attention on towards moving towards your vision? Then, once you have the focus, you got to determine, all right, well, we could do a lot of different things to improve here. So if you're looking to increase revenue, for example, or profits, there's a lot of different ways you can go about doing that, right? But rather than just jumping into the first idea that pops in your head, it'd be listing out all the possibilities that you could do. And this is great when you have a team that you can guide through and everyone can put in their input so they feel like they're being heard. And sometimes you're getting some ideas that you wouldn't even realize would have been possible without having that session. Next, when you have people to ideate, you've prioritized the ideas based on impact, your confidence of pulling it off, the ease of pulling it off. It's time to put it into a plan. So we implement an action planner tool It helps the team get the strategies that they're going to be executing mapped out into the different actions that they need to take in order to achieve that plan. It's the measuring twice and cutting once. So we have the action planner tool. So then you have a plan. But planning is only half the battle. You've got to implement the 4 disciplines of execution. And in just a moment, I'm going to walk over all 4. So I'm going to kind of go past that right now, but it's all about execution. You can plan, have a great plan, have a great team, but if you don't execute, then you're not going to get the result you're looking for. We want to make sure that we're measuring the right things. So we help to guide through developing a growth scorecard. So you're tracking the right metrics, the ones that will influence and predict a result, as well as the results themselves. Setting clear goals and identifying where you're at so that you can really get specific on if the actions you're taking are driving results. Then last but not least, really taking the time to review, refine. So it's creating the habit of getting your team to look each week and making sure that you're looking at the scorecard, you're looking at the jobs that need to be done, and you're reflecting on them so that you're getting the best possible outcome. Sometimes you run into challenges. And if you do, by identifying them, you can work through and resolve them. So those who've been through our workshops, we've had some great people go through our workshops. Some businesses have transformed what was possible for them. Gave me a whole new perspective on where my business should be putting in my business. We've got our team was more focused and energized after participating in the workshop, a great experience overall. And we've got, while I was familiar with the concepts, it was very helpful to be guided through the process in a focused manner. So the real reason I think most people benefited is because it's not that they don't know these things, right? We know a lot of the things we should do. But when you take the time and devote and get everyone together and are guided through a process, what changes is you're seeing things from a different perspective. You're having someone guide you through that process, just like working with a fitness trainer, right? You know how to work out, but a fitness trainer would help you look at those nuances so that you get a more effective workout and expedite achieving your result. All right, so then let me walk through the 4 disciplines of execution. Because before we said, it's great to have a plan, but if you're not executing, then you're missing the big picture. The disciplines of execution, discipline number 1, focus on the wildly important. So this is important why you need to have clearly defined goals. You want to have them clearly written out so that everyone on your team knows what they are and knows how they contribute to the goal. Discipline number 2, act on the lead measures. The lead measures are the measures of the actions that influence and predict a result. For example, lead measures might be the amount of phone calls someone is making to reach people. And the lag measure, or the result, could be the number of appointments that are being scheduled from the number of outreaches. So you do want to keep score, right? You do want to keep score and pay attention to the end result. But you want to put your focus and act on the actions that you can take that will influence and predict the result. And you got to make sure, discipline number 3, that you're keeping a compelling scoreboard. You're tracking this at least weekly, that you're seeing the actions that are being taken, making sure they're being taken, and then also seeing the result that it's achieving. So if you need to adjust the strategy or change things a bit or push a little harder, you'll know where you're supposed to be and through the time of execution. An example of that would be like, someone doing a fundraiser. They're trying to raise a certain amount of funds for like an organization. You see like the thermostat. They know that they are trying to achieve this end goal, let's say like $10,000 in 30 days. Well, about day 15, halfway through, they should approximately be around $5,000 if they want to be on track to achieve their goal. So what tends to happen though is a lot of people wait to the last minute, and so they'll be lagging, and then they're seeing there's only a few days left, and they'll really push hard to do what they can to achieve the result. So that's what the power of a scoreboard can be. It's keeping it visual, making sure everyone sees it, participating in it. It's driving results. And then last but not least, accountability is discipline number 4. Establish accountability, a culture. We don't want to have an excuse culture. I couldn't get to it this week because I was busy. I couldn't make it happen because the other stuff came up. That's an excuse culture. If we want to get a growth culture, we've got to make sure that we're not relying on excuses, but we want to keep our word. So we do that by meeting. We do that by reviewing the scoreboard and checking the action plan to make sure that we're doing what we say that we're going to do. And if we have breaches, right, if people aren't doing what they say they're going to do, we don't need to come across trying to be a disciplinarian. That's not good accountability. We want to come off and be a coach to those that we're working with to help them succeed, to empower them, to resolve the challenges that are holding them back, and give them the tools, resources, and support so that they can achieve where we want them to go. So all of these things are the different elements that we have baked into our strategic planning workshop. And if you'd like to learn how to participate, again, go to go.growthamplifiers.com/action plan. You do that, you get a special first timer pass so you can learn more about how to participate. And we're also going to give you our habit optimizer blueprint. So this is how to optimize the habits that you have so that you're being able to design the reality that you want to create, right? Our habits create our reality. So that was an overview. Again, you can use these ideas in your business, but if you're looking for a guide, maybe someone to help you and your team implement these ideas, if you're looking for some tools and resources to implement so that you're not kind of guessing at it, definitely reach out. We want to hear from you. It's our mission to be inspiring and empowering 10,000 businesses to double their results. And we're excited to connect with you. So whether you're taking an idea from here and implementing it or reaching out and connecting, I appreciate you and what you do. Thank you for taking action to amplify the world, sharing your unique gifts and your true talent. I appreciate it. And until next time, keep on amplifying.